Everybody was shocked when nothing happened because they all predicted a sinister, but it seemed as though they were wrong. But 1 week later, Mr. Femi Ademoye, the third husband of Adira Agbebi, died in a car accident. Everywhere basically scattered. Once upon a time, in the village of Atemu, there lived a very beautiful girl named Adira. Adira was so beautiful. She was the most beautiful girl in the whole of Atemu. She was every man's dream. She had everything a man needed in a woman. She was beautiful, respectful, hardworking, and disciplined. Adira stayed with her father and her stepmother because her mother had passed when she was little. Everybody saw the brightness in Adira's future. But one dilemma Adira had was quite ridiculous. She was presently 45, but she had no husband. Some people thought it was the irony of life. Some people are just meant to be single no matter how beautiful they are. Some people thought to themselves. People secretly mocked her, some openly and directly ridiculed her. You might be wondering if she never got to see a husband. But no, she actually did. Adira was 22 when she met her first lover. They dated for 2 years until he finally proposed. Everybody was elated about the news. A day was fixed for the wedding. The day for the wedding finally came. But lo and behold, her groom dumped her on the wedding altar. When it got to the section where Odidun, who was the groom, would say I do, he did not. Everybody was confused. He suddenly ran out of the church like a madman. All he kept saying was, I can't die before my time, oh, Egbamio. Odidun cut off the wedding. Everybody really wondered what happened that fateful day. It was the talk of the town. Different speculations were made. Some said he never liked her, while some assumed Adira offended him. Odidun did not say why he unknowed what he had with Adira and ran off the way he did. Everyone asked what he saw, but he never disclosed. Adira was heartbroken. She cried day and night, wondering what she had done wrong. It didn't take long before Adira heard that Odidu had died due to a minor sickness. Adira soon hid from whatever that was, and 2 years later, she soon found her second lover. This time, her fiance's name was Lawrence Chima. Lawrence Chima was a wealthy man who was into importation and exportation of goods. Lawrence was wealthy, and he soon got to meet Adira. They instantly fell in love. It didn't take long before a date was set for their traditional marriage. On the day of the marriage, Lawrence did not wake up from his sleep. It felt like a dream. Someone needed to wake Adira up because it felt like madness. This was the second husband she nearly got married to. This was no longer child's play. Adira became pensive. Everything happening was not adding up. They soon decided to visit different medicine men. There was not literally Adira did not do. Her stepmother, Mrs. Oyin, was super supportive. She took Adira to different places for deliverance. After all the cleansing and fortification, she was told she was delivered, only for her to jump into the third relationship, and before the blink of an eye, another disastrous incident occurred. Mr. Femi Ademoye was the third husband of Adira. Mr. Femi actually succeeded in marrying Adira. Adira was so happy and grateful that nothing happened. Everybody was shocked when nothing happened because they all predicted a sinister, but it seemed as though they were wrong. But 1 week later, Mr. Femi Ademoye, the third husband of Adira Agbebi, died in a car accident. Everywhere basically scattered. They say first is a chance, second is a coincidence, and third is a pattern. This really looks like a pattern for Adira. Adira finally gave up. She was tired of getting married and for the men to die or being attacked. She soon turned 40 and everyone who saw her remembered those gory incidents. Men feared Adire. Even ignorant men were secretly told not to marry her because she was cursed. In some cases, they gave the men to their daughters. On one occasion, Mr. Deji, a business tycoon from Port Harcourt, wanted to marry Adire, but one day he suddenly blocked her on all socials and ran for dear life. Adire knew he had already held the sad tale of her and her suitors. Mrs. Oyin's daughter, who were all Adire's younger siblings, had all getting married, and even Adire's age mates had all had up to 4 children. It felt like each occurrence gave her a nickname of mockery. Nobody neared Adire. She was ostracized and treated like an outcast. They all thought her problem was contagious. At 45, Adire had lost all hopes. She had decided to just see life the way it was. Her case was a typical definition of when life give you lemon, make lemonade. One day, while Adire was headed to the market, she mistakenly got involved in an argument. Everybody knew she was a bitter woman whom life had battered. When she was arguing, a pastor quickly separated and reconciled the quarrel. When he was done, he simply advised and prayed for Adire. Adire was touched. The name of the pastor was Vincent Okoli. Everybody told him she was cursed, that he should flee, but he remained. They soon got into a very genuine relationship. Adire told him her history about the disaster that happened to the men she married. But Mr. Okoli stayed and assured her that his case was going to be different. He made his intention known to marry Adire. Adire was even shocked. At 45, someone still liked her. She really liked Vincent, so she disagreed to marry him. In order to save his life, she was tired of crying for the one she loved. But Vincent persisted. He was dogged and recalcitrant. Adire soon agreed. When she happily told her dearest stepmother, who had been her support all this while, Mrs. Oyin went berserk. She was very furious. She tried to convince Adire not to marry him. She reminded her of the incredible experience she had had, but Adire told her she had hopes for Vincent. She could not describe where the boldness and assurance came from, but she was willing to give marriage another chance. Mrs. Onyi's disapproval on her getting married to the pastor really wondered Adire. The day for the wedding finally came. The wedding was crowded in the church, everybody waiting to see the disaster about to happen. But surprisingly, nothing happened. Table took turns. Immediately, Adire and Vincent exchanged their wedding ring. A loud scream was heard from behind. Everybody turned to see what it was. To their greatest surprise, it was Mrs. Oyin. Everybody wondered what was happening. She was confessing. She confessed how she was the one who made Adire's suitors to end up the way they did. She confessed that she used Adire's marriage as a collateral for her life. As long as Adire remained unmarried, she would leave. Her oath was going to renew, but Vincent's head was too strong to kill. Everybody was dumbfounded. Adire cried bitterly. Mrs. Oli wasted her years. To think Mrs. Oyin was the most supportive person during her quagmire. Mrs. Oyin had been the cause all along. She was a snake in the grass who looked like a helper. Everybody was devastated. "This world can be wicked," a woman said. Mrs. Oyin begged them to forgive her. But it didn't take few seconds before she died. Everybody froze. It felt like a movie, but it was real. The incident gave the people of Atemu another lesson to be learnt. People really sympathized with Adire. Adire and Vincent finally married that same day, and it didn't take long before Adire became heavily pregnant. She delivered quadruplets. The 4 children were beautiful and bouncing. She thanked God for avenging for her. This was a sign that delay wasn't denial. When the time was right, the Lord made it happen. God turned her insult to result. She thanked everybody who ever stood by her. She really thanks Vincent for seeing life in her, even when she could not see herself. The moral lesson to be learned from this story is that you should stay guarded and prayerful. You don't know who it might be. The devil doesn't come with horns and ugliness to meet you. Instead, he wears a facade of deception. And also, delay is not denial. When it is time, God will surely make it happen. Every disappointment always turns out to be a blessing. There is always a silver lining at the end of the tunnel. If you liked this story, kindly subscribe, comment, like, and share this post. Thank you guys for your time. And I'm saying, please subscribe. It is totally free.